Okay, so for the past few episodes, we learned generics, enum singleton, arrays, lists, sets, higher order functions. Now let's create some app. Let's create an app. So we're gonna create okay, where's this app? Garbage app. So we're gonna create this app. This app as a card, like this displays an image and a text. As you can see, this component, this UI component is similar to other component as this as an image and text. So is everything else in this app. So how do we create this? So we need image and a text. So there's a repetition. So for example, you could create a data class. You know what? Let's say if you didn't know arrays and classes and objects and objects and things like that, we would probably create a variable and assign it the location of the image, and we would also assign the text for the image, and we would use like this we'll pass a variable image1, text1, image2, text2, things like that. But we now know how to use arrays, lists, and data types. With this, we can we know with a list we can create a list of similar things, right? This is a perfect example. This is so similar. This component is similar to this. So let's create a list for this. That list is gonna contain image and a string, right? But in order to list only contains similar data types, so we need a class. Objects are similar, so we need to create a class. Let's start with that. So let's start with a new project, empty activity, and okay, so the app is still building. Let's go to our app. We're not in the lesson where we talk about architecture, so it's gonna be confusing what I'm doing. But what we gotta do is we need to create a data folder. Inside of that data folders, we're gonna keep the images and strings. Okay, list of images and strings. Like I said, we need class and then we need a list. So let's start with the class. Also, let's start creating the data folder. Where's that? I'm not sure if they created the data folder or something, but we're gonna create it. Where is it? New package. Anyway, you can either press this package name and click new and package and mention essentially whatever you put it becomes a folder. So I I created their folder, or you could go to the, where is it, menu. If you go to project file, you get all this example affirmation YT. Okay, like this you get all the folders. But if you go to the Android, you would notice that some folders are like coupled together, joined together. I don't know. So if you wanted to create a folder inside of examples, we can't. So you gotta go to the project files. Okay, with that, let's go. We have a data, so we need to create a class. Okay, class, we're gonna call it Affirmation. You can call it whatever you want. So we need a constructor. We need to create a constructor image. Image, well, we're gonna store the integers, right? Resources like r.drawable something gonna return integer, right? So we're gonna use that. So we're gonna use int, and text is also, we're gonna use the resource for that as well. So text, we're gonna use annotation to tell the compiler that these are drawable resources, and text. So you can tell the compiler that this image is a drawable resources using annotation. Same thing with this string res, probably. Okay, we have created the template. Let's go and create. You can call it whatever you want. I'm probably trying to use the names they use in the documentation. You can probably call anything you want. Okay, so we need a list, right? Either you can create a method and pass the return the list, or I believe you can also probably create a list outside of the class if you wanted. Anyway, but we're gonna stick with the documentation. So they're creating a function load probably data or something. So this returns a list of affirmation. So probably it's a good idea to start your variable names with small cap, small letters, because the class names are always in capital letters. So we need a list of. We're gonna tell that it's gonna be the list of affirmations. So we need to pass in that. This we're gonna tell it it's a list. How do we tell it? It's a list of affirmation. We can either let the compiler think. Compiler assign the data type. Assignments are not expressions. Okay, so probably we return this. Type mismatch required unit found a list. Affirmation. Okay. We fixed it by returning list of affirmation. Okay, so now we need to create the affirmation objects. I'm just gonna copy and paste it. So they're creating they're using string, affirmation, drawable. We're using so they're passing string and drawable one after another. Ours is not like that. Let's copy and just make it similar to theirs so that we can copy paste it. Okay, so now we have all this garbages. We just need to create we just need to import the images and create strings in XML file. First, let's get the images. Probably, where is it? I usually just when I want to get the images, I usually just download this code. Okay, extract all. Let's find the drawable images and okay, copy everything. Find the well, what you gotta do is you need to find the Android Studio projects folder. For me, it's where is it? I don't know where is it. Okay, so it's in the my name, users name, and it's in my users folder. Essentially, I have pinned it for quick access. Now I just need to find the app. So this is the app that I created. So this is gonna be that app and app. Let's go to source, main, and resources. Here I'm gonna paste everything, replace. Okay, so now we have the images. Now let's look for the strings. App, resources, values, strings. Okay, we got the strings, we got the images, we're good to go. Where is it? What are all these garbages? Okay, let's go to the resources, values, strings. Okay, alright, so we got everything. I also have the auto import on. So if you go to your settings, it's probably somewhere here. Editor, general, code editing, general. Oh, okay, it's in editor, general, auto import. So you just need to go turn on add unambiguous imports on the fly, optimize, turn on all this. If you do that, all this, like I didn't need to import the R or data or something, whatever. I didn't need to import this. Okay, if you turn on that, the packages or variables that you use in your projects gonna be automatically imported. Okay, why are we getting it live? Okay, all right. So next we have the list, we have the image. All we now need to do is create the file, the user interface. Let's try running it. Error running up. Schmidt. Running devices. Okay, let's switch to this one. Sometimes this medium phone API, it's kind of buggy. You could either delete it or something. So I just switched to another medium phone API, another emulator. It's the biggie, like the garbage starter files. We haven't done anything new. Okay, so let's start by creating the card, right? The individual component. Let's start creating one component, and we're going to use that as a template to create other components. Let's get rid of this. We don't need that. Scaffold, if you didn't know it, it's actually Jetpack composes composable. So let's create a affirmation card. I would accept modifier. Okay, and also annotate it as a composable. And we're gonna pass this affirmation card for now, so that we don't get errors. Modifier, the padding. Okay, you always need to pass the inner padding to a composable. Okay, now we have that. If you look at this, I'm trying to create this component. This is a image under text. Also, if you didn't notice that, it has a border radius, corner radius, or whatever. So this is actually, they're using a component called composable called card for this. This is a default. They are not changing anything. They're not creating it from scratch. They're just using a new composable, just like text and text fields, like that. So that using that card gives you that the border radius. So we're gonna use column to lay out our children. I'm gonna use an image, and okay, I'm gonna accept affirmation one affirmation list. Affirmation. This is gonna accept a type of affirmation. Okay, this is gonna accept affirmation object and text. So first, painter. Let's create a painter. We're gonna pass in painter resource. Affirmation dot image, and pass in content description. Where is it? Okay, we need to import that image. Okay, description. Okay, for now I'm gonna use null text. We're gonna do the same thing. Text is string resource affirmation and text. Okay, so we got that. We have an image and a text. And what is this? Okay, by default we need to set some defaults. So what we I guess by default we're gonna set it to null. We need to, null can be a value of okay. So we just need to pass a default value for this. How are we gonna do that? Let's see how are they doing it. Anyway, they're not even providing the default value, so let's just create another. So we've created the component, right? Now we need to create the whole thing. Now we need a composable that takes individual components and displays one after another. So you would probably think if we could use column, right? Let's say composable. Let's try affirmation list modifier by default. So this accepts the whole list. So affirmation list. I'm going to call it affirmation list and pass the list of affirmation. So we need to pass this load data. This load data returns a list of this. This affirmation list is a list of affirmation. Okay. So we need a column. Inside of the column we're gonna use affirmation list for each. We're gonna create okay, we don't need this. I guess we probably need it, but affirmation card. Let's also give it a default modifier. Affirmation okay. So what did I just do? If you look at the documentation, they're not using this, but I use for each to create a list of affirmation card. So this returns this creates affirmation cards one after another. And let's try putting this here. modifier mod. Okay, affirmation list. Well, it's just a load. We need to call the, what is it, where's that, data source. We need to call load data, data source load data. Data source load So to get that, we actually need this instance of this. Let's just call this an object to make our life easier. Okay, so somehow that fixed it. So we created it. Congratulations. It's just a matter of styling this. Okay, so first scaffold modifier, where scaffold as a modifier fill max width, and we're padding. In our padding, we're passing dot, and let's start with this. Let's give this fill max width modifier, fill max size, and for affirmation modifiers and fill max width. We could use content scale to fit the image in the available width. Content crop. Good. So we almost got it. So what are we gotta do? What we gotta do? We have a image and a text. We need to give it. We need to give the text some padding. I don't need padding for the image. We could use a modifier for that. Modifier padding. Okay, 8 dp or something. Now I want to give each component some padding. only, okay, all around padding should, let's give the card component the padding. What about here? Padding ATP. Okay, that didn't work. Why didn't that work? Okay, still our what's it? Our user interface is kind of not looking great at the moment, but as we are learning, our layout's gonna look absolutely terrible anyway. My advice is to focus on learning logic and getting familiar with the the Jetpack Compose and Kotlin, then work on learning layouts later. For now, you know what, let's just try some shortcut. So essentially our padding on the top and bottom is way too high, so we could what we could use is we could use the vertical horizontal keywords, properties. So vertical, that was way too high, so we're gonna use the 8 dp, and horizontal we're gonna stick with 16 dp. Okay, so far we built it, but the problem is we can't scroll it. So the only one easiest way you could make your a list of components scrollable is by using lazy column. Lazy column is also a composable. Inside of this you have a items method. You're gonna pass the list of items. For example, where is it? Affirmation list. And then I have no idea what to do next. Okay, we need to use it. Oh, we gotta get this, man. Okay, and then inside of that we're gonna just return this, copy and okay, now you got yourself a scrollable list. So we have a inner padding. Even though we're passing inner padding, I think we're not using it. Inner padding affirmation list, we're passing that to the modifier. We're using the modifier, and let's pass that modifier to this modifier lazy column. Okay, so with that we got some padding for the system elements. Next we're gonna look at how we can add icons